At the start, Anya wonders about last book's cliffhanger, where Damien's mother both loves and hates him. Keep wondering, Anya. The book won't come back to that storyline. I don't like it when a series introduces a big cliffhanger, only to completely ignore it.
Argofunk Book Review, Argofunk Book Review.
Anya is popular at school because she helped save everybody in the last book. Humorously, the rich kids are jealous of her because she's so poor and low class. Anya gets the idea to invite Damien over to her house, which could work, but she completely loses sight of her goals. She ends up arguing with Damien over nothing, as usual. There are two unimportant chapters. Twilight and Handler have a competition to see who's the better dog trainer. This one is mostly Anya's fault. She was excited to meet her dad's boss lady. In the other chapter, Twilight psychoanalyzes a teacher. He discovers the teacher is terrified of his cruel wife. Twilight is happy he's got a fake marriage, not a real one. I suppose that's somewhat connected to the next story. Yor wants to seem normal, so she tries harder to befriend her co-workers. They go out to dinner, where they drink and complain about their husbands. Yor gets drunk and has a fantasy about assassinating her husband because he messed up her breakfast. I hope the anime turns the epic Twilight Thorn Princess battle into a full episode. Yor is still a little drunk the next morning. Because she thinks husband complaints are normal, Yor starts a fight with Lloyd. Things intensify when Yuri walks in on the argument. Poor Lloyd is confused the whole time, while Yor struggles to think of something she's actually mad about. Yor finally thinks of a good gripe. Lloyd spends too much time at work and not enough time with her. She's not wrong, as the second half of the book is Twilight on an emergency spy mission. A man named Wheeler stole a bunch of spy documents. They need to stop him from giving the documents to the secret police. Twilight tries to make the drop-off in disguise as Wheeler. The secret police see through the disguise because Twilight messed up the secret signal he was supposed to give. Twilight survives a firefight and disguises himself as Yuri. He escapes into the sewers, where he fights with the real Yuri. The battle goes on for a long time because Yuri refuses to give up, and Twilight can't bring himself to kill his wife's brother. Meanwhile, the other spies use a disguise to lure Wheeler out of hiding. He evades capture by taking a hostage. Wheeler escapes into the sewers, where he fights the disguised Twilight. Twilight loses the battle. Nightfall arrives on the scene just as Wheeler rips the mask off of the unconscious Twilight. There are 3 short stories after this. Anya goes to the zoo, and kids like spaceships. The best of the 3 stories is the longest one, where Twilight makes an educational cartoon for Anya. She thinks it's terrible. The end. Postbook follow-up. While I like the volume, I think a lot of the jokes missed, especially in the Yor chapters. Maybe their fight would have worked better if she continued her silly complaints about his food, instead of complaining about nothing. I saw several reviewers say, the problem is Anya. She's just so darn funny, the humor falls flat if she's not there. I also saw several reviewers mention the events of chapters 85 and 86, which aren't in this volume. Was there a version that did include them? Because honestly, it would be a good idea if the 2 filler chapters were replaced with the conclusion to the story. I like having complete stories. I think they should have put Yor's co-workers on the cover instead of Handler. Handler isn't in the spy story, surprisingly. She only appears in the dog chapter, where we get a hint of her tragic backstory. I noticed there were blank captions in my copy of the book. That seems like a printing error. The spy mission at the end is fine, but with all the disguises, it is a little confusing to follow the action. That, and most of the characters, are characters we haven't met before. I give Spy X Family 12 a 7 out of 10.